Hey, it's Joel here from the Traveler Toolkit to tell you about a new product from ROMOSS, this wireless charging bank that has 10,000 milliamp hours worth of power within it. It's got 30-watt fast charging, everything you're going to need for charging on the go in today's video. So make sure you don't miss a thing. A big thanks to ROMOSS for sending over this product for review, and just a heads up, they did pay for the opportunity to be featured on the channel, but this video still reflects my true thoughts and opinions, as they're not going to review this or approve it in any way. All right, now before I tell you all about the specs and usability of this product and tell you my thoughts on it, I want to talk about the problem that it solves that attracted me to this. You see, when I travel, I've got several different devices that I take with me at all times. So of course, I've got my iPhone, then I've got my AirPods, and right now I'm wearing my Apple Watch Ultra. And I have a specific setup at home that I charge both my Apple Watch Ultra and my AirPods with. I've got a clock next to my bed. I've got a special stand for my watch. I also charge my phone on my wireless charging pad next to my clock. All of these things kind of work together. And when I go somewhere, I don't want to rip all of those things out of the wall to take the specific magnetic charger for my watch or a wireless charging pad for my AirPods or the same one for my phone. But now with the ROMOSS wireless charging bank, I can charge all three of these devices on this one device. It's really handy because it's self-contained. This little device could charge an iPad completely one time. It could charge a phone twice. It can charge these AirPods 12 times. Or it could charge this watch 23 times, all on one single charge with its 10,000 milliamp battery. But like I said, battery banks are a dime a dozen. There are a million of them out there. That doesn't make this special. What makes this special is the magnetic charging capabilities for all of these devices on the front of this power bank. So let's take a quick look at how each of them attaches. So to start things out, let's talk about the iPhone because it's probably the most obvious of all the connection points. I personally have an iPhone 14 mini, so it's smaller than most, and you'll notice that with a MagSafe case and a mag strip on the back of the phone, it will simply clip together like that. And for my smaller phone, kind of hangs off the back. And now I wouldn't want to attach this to my phone and try to use it unless I absolutely had to, because the battery is pretty bulky. That's what you get with that power. You get a little bit more size and a little bit more bulk, but the magnet is strong. That's one thing I want to emphasize, is that this magnet is really strong, and I can attach it to my phone, not have to worry about it coming off. It's going to stay on there. It's going to charge. So if I were setting this down and simply charging it, no big deal. It's got the power I need, but it's also portable, and I can take it with me anywhere and recharge it easily. So phone, very easy connection, very easy concept. Now let's talk about AirPods. Again, another pretty simple, seamless connection, strong magnetic connection here. We don't have to worry about it falling off or going anywhere. In fact, once we're connected here, I wouldn't hesitate to throw this in a backpack pocket. Of course, it could slide off there, but I doubt it would. You could really just do this, throw it in a backpack, and probably recharge while you're on the go. Set it in a car like this. That would be a really good solution if you're on an airplane and need to recharge. Now, when it comes to your Apple Watch, this is a different connection completely, because while I could take a simple charging pad of any kind and charge both my phone and my AirPods with it, these two kind of work together, my watch needs a different kind of connection. It needs this little dimple right here up front that it has on the ROMOSS, and it's going to accept this kind of protrusion on the back of your Apple Watch. And so you can set it down like this, and this is probably the easiest way to show it to you. You kind of see it clipping in there, and it'll charge. But this is not, you already saw it fell off. This is not a perfect connection the way that the AirPods and the iPhone is. It is handy and it does solve a problem, but you're not going to be able to move it around. You can just simply set this on a table and recharge it like this. Now, I brought my watch that breaks apart in the middle, so there's not a continuous loop around it. But I did some testing with my other watch bands, like the one that came with this watch, where it was a continuous loop that was elastically attached. And that's a much harder charge. You have to slip your phone around the back and then kind of work it in here. And there's space here. It doesn't want to quite, it will charge, but it doesn't quite want to sit right there. It's a little different. So while it will sit there in charge like this, connected through this method, it's not as good of a connection. You'll see air. Like I said, you can't move it around. It's just a much different connection than the iPhone and the AirPods. Now, this product has a wired first setting. So when you're charging both a wired device and a magnetic device at the same time, it will prioritize the wired charging. And in this test here, I'm going to show you how you can hook up multiple devices at the same time. So I've got a USB-C set of Beats AirPods here connected, charging, while also putting my AirPods on the magnetic strip. And then I'm also going to plug in my iPhone here to the second USB-C outlet and show you that it can charge all three of these devices at the same time. It's pretty incredible. So charging there, charging down here, and then charging all the way back at the AirPods. Still, it's three devices in one. And also, I want to give you some proof that it can charge a full-size iPad, so everything is unplugged, but I'm plugging in the iPad by itself, and there you go. So when you're charging an iPad, you can't charge anything else. All right, so now that we've seen what it works for, let's talk about what makes this different and special and why it would be worth your time. There's a hidden feature on the ROMOSS that you probably haven't noticed because it's hiding in plain sight, and it has to do with this little loop right here. Of course, it just looks like a handle, right? Something you can grab onto. You could hook onto a carabiner, maybe on a backpack, hold it around. It's very firm, very sturdy, but what it actually is a 30-watt USB-C charging cable. Two USB-C ends, and that means on the bottom here we've got two USB input and outputs. So not only can you charge from these ports, if you have something that isn't MagBack wireless charging enabled, you could plug in this cable, which you have with you, and go straight in USB-C into any device to recharge it directly via this battery bank. To me, a hidden integrated cable is pretty smart. And the fact that no matter what I'm doing, I already have a USB-C cable with me is great because I carry charging bricks with me almost everywhere. And knowing that all I have to have is this by itself, and my other charging bricks are going to be there. All I have to do is unplug this, plug it into one of those bricks, and I can recharge it or plug this into a device to get a charge whenever I need to. It also has built-in protection to prevent overheating, overcurrent, overvoltage, and short circuits. So no matter what device you're charging, you'll be safe. And while we're looking at the USB-C ports here on the bottom, I'll also say that if you don't use the included cable, there is a dust cover for this little section back here that makes it look like you only have one USB-C cord, so you've kind of got this curved edge here and it just hides. I'm kind of shocked that they don't have another plug for that if you're not using this cable in this capacity as kind of a little latch, that they wouldn't cover that up with some kind of dust cover because they have one. I kind of wish I would see that, but my recommendation would be to take this out and not use it at all. My recommendation would be to keep the cable in there like a little latch, and then you've always got a USB-C cable with you. And of course, right next to this cable, you have a little 4-light LED indicating both that you are charging, if you're charging something, and your level of battery, 4 lights. For devices like this, I always wish it was a little more specific, but at least that gives you some kind of idea. And you also have a power button on this far side, which you will need to press before or after you put your device on there in order for it to enable charging. I have yet to really figure out how you turn these things on and off. It seems like another tap of the button does not turn it off, but I believe they will simply put themselves to sleep. They're not going to waste battery when they're not charging anything, so I don't believe there's any need to turn them off. This is simply a charge enabling button that gets it ready to go. All right, so let's take all that information and wrap it in a conclusion. Is the ROMOSS wireless charger worth buying to take with you on your next trip? Well, my opinion is if you have these 3 specific devices, Apple Watch, AirPods, iPhone, it is easier to take something like this with you than multiple different charging enabled devices or corded devices. Yes, you're going to need to recharge this along the way, and it's not meant to necessarily sit down and become a charging hub. It is a battery bank at its core, but I believe it's a really easy way to do that for a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-day trip. When you're going on vacation, when you're going on a little excursion, it's easier to take something like this and recharge it than it is to take 3 or 4 different cords, cables, and adapters for all these devices. If you're simply an iPhone user and you don't have any of those other things, there are probably better devices that you could buy that might be cheaper, more capable, more powerful to do all those things. But if you are a multi-device user like me, this solves a lot of problems in one. I think it's highly interesting because of that factor and because that it will charge my Apple Watch. I do love the fact that it includes this hidden USB-C cable, and you just saw I had some trouble getting that out of there. It's firm in there. It's not going anywhere. I don't think I've ever seen another device like that, so props to them for coming up with that idea, and having a USB-C on its person at all times is really nice. So if you're a multi-device user like me, this could save you a lot of time and hassle on your next trip. I think you should check it out, and I think I'm gonna take this with me on my next trip to see how it does with all 3 of my devices. Hey, thanks for watching today's video. As always, my name is Joel. This is the Traveler Toolkit, and I'll see you in the next video.